the argument that players selected, despite wizard obviously being the best choice.
Exactly.
Do you deserve a little treat, correct?
Yes.
And we, in our earlier conversation, decided that Arbiter is the person you're debating against, and Confucius is quote-unquote the player character.
Yes.
Which means that we need to get inside Confucius's head a little bit more than we do in the actual game. So here's a question for you, Morgan, I think, before we get started. Who is you in Do You Deserve a Little Treat? Is it Confucius in this scenario? Like,
no.
Is it basically Arbiter being like, I'm sorry, Confucius, you don't deserve crap? By the way, I'm assuming Arbiter is going to be arguing that you don't deserve a treat, because it's like, it's a more, like, I don't know why you'd argue. I feel like the protagonist arguing against treats it puts you in a villainous position.
But that does sound like something Confucius would do. Is it within your role to get a little treat?
Confucius could also argue that it is the duty of the ruler figure to occasionally bestow little treats upon itself.
So true. So to give you background on the treat meme, the you is usually like the person viewing the content, and a treat is just kind of anything that you are trying to justify a purchase of. So like, I deserve a little treat, I should go buy myself a nice little coffee. I deserve a treat today. You should go buy Pro Philosopher 2 because you deserve a little treat today. Exactly, you get it. Okay.
Then no one should argue against that. The argument should just be like, Arbiter's like, you should buy Pro Philosopher 2, and Confucius is like, I agree.
This is our most historically based argument that we've ever written.
Oh, we haven't even introduced ourselves.
They know who we are. No.
These videos before. They heard my voice like briefly. Well, okay, sure. I'm just gonna say, for the record, that my name is Connor. I am the writer and designer on Pro Philosopher. Yes.
And let the record reflect, my name is Morgan. I'm the social media manager for Pro Philosopher 2.
Nonsense.
Arbiter
would argue you don't just deserve a little treat. Right? He's like, look, there's a bunch of people here, you're not special, you can get a treat just for existing, Confucius. And then if you press that for backing, Arbiter would be like, well, okay, your philosophy defined, many eras of Chinese culture, but, that's, half the people here. If you gave a treat to everyone who defined a society's culture for a while, then, I'd be all out of treats.
How many treats does Arbiter have?
We can reveal spoilers for 2. The fact that in the intelligible realm, things come in, some ideas, some, food stuff, and things come into existence by thinking about them. So, we have that in the idea slate, and then Confucius is like, you have unlimited treats. You're just being stingy. What is the little treat they want to purchase?
I think it is funnier the more vague we leave it. I think it will make it harder to write, but if we can leave it incredibly vague.
Alright.
The idealized treat. The platonic ideal of a treat.
Platonic ideal of a treat. You argue. You signed me up for nonsense with this choice. Okay.
Something that's never happened before in this game.
There's no nonsense in Pro Philosopher. It's a very serious philosophy. It has. This shows how we format our arguments when we're writing them. Generally, write them in Google Docs first, and then we translate them over the script to figure out the base words.
I love that y'all did it in Google Docs. I mean, it does make sense since we're just going to be transcribing it to Notepad.
What I'd often do is I copy it in bulk and then do find replace to change the format. Find all Socrates : replace with then insert a space quote underneath and make Socrates lowercase. This is the original script for Youthbro. You can see there's typos in it that have been fixed in the actual game. Outweigh instead of outweigh. The least charitable philosopher in the game is Youthbro.
Yeah.
Is the first one. It's the religious one. And I'm I do not treat him well. It's actually one of my biggest regrets. Although if I did that in extended edition, I would double down.
You gotta commit. Can you tell me what the color coding means?
Red is clarification, blue is backing, and green is relevance / connections. And then purple is a challenge, and yellow is this is something that we wrote because someone presented this on the statement and it made sense, but it's doesn't quite make enough sense to knock out the argument. So yellow is a custom response for one of the presents.
Yellow is custom fail.
I would say custom response.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't want to say custom fail, Connor.
What if people wait? It's not like they failed. They just made a more different move. The thing that's interesting about this is generally in Pro Philosopher, characters are arguing from a position of, like, the player character is coming from a position of neutrality and investigation, and this is a little bit different because the character will have a viewpoint, and which does happen, but we try to avoid it because it works better with present their own ideas back to them. Or working with the confines of their own ideas. You don't deserve no treat. Okay, Arbiter would be slightly more professional than the joke world.
Connor?
What?
Little treat.
Oh, no, wait. Humanity does not.
Ooh, yeah.
Humanity kind of sucks sometimes. Therefore, they must reflect on their various errors. Treats. I'm just making something up. This is not actually probably any good. Distract from such reflection.
I think we should also say something about, like, the value of treats could be better spent on other more important goods and services.
Sure. I mean, if you want to add another statement.
To make it harder for us.
The money spent on treats could be better spent on Pro Philosopher.
Pro Philosopher 2, yeah!
Pro Philosopher 2 is the treat.
Yes.
So then you want to establish that Pro Philosopher 2 is not a treat. That would be, as they say in the business, bad marketing. Let's make this more arbitrary. Humanity is prone to a number of faults.
Perhaps we could say overindulgence, specifically link this to the risk of the treats.
Confucius would agree with all of this, though.
I know, unfortunately, like, the Arbiter's really hitting, you know?
Fundamentally, philosophically aligned.
Do you remember doing those debates in high school where you were not in a debate club, and the teacher had to be like, no, you just have to argue for what I assign you, but you don't. Yeah.
Confucius, it is your job to argue that humanity deserves a little treat, but I don't think humanity deserves a little treat. Well, too bad. I do feel like that what moves actually lead to this, but I feel like the counter argument is self-improvement requires motivation, which is something that could be revealed here, right?
Yeah.
And then you could present self-improvement requires motivation. So we could say maybe you get this from one of the moves on this, right?
Yeah. I'm also thinking about how Confucius would argue this, and he would probably argue that one could better perform one's role if one was satisfied.
I was going to say,
yeah.
Yes, the treats provide satisfaction.
Yes.
And motivation. So this is the general format of the argument that we made. And then we need another idea for the idea slate that is at the top. Treats are enjoyable objects. Oh wait, here's the plot. That you are trying to justify purchasing.
Yes. Pro Philosopher 2. The only one of which is available is completely free, which is very good.
That's the Billy argument we already made.
Yes.
Let's come up with some Confucius-y way to ask these questions.
Yes.
He states a lot of things as questions, and these are already questions.
Yeah.
Is that statement that? It's better if these statements are short because they go over and over and over again.
Exactly.
There are variances between them on different lines. Like, treats distract from such reflection.
Yeah.
Very straightforward, so Arbiter could respond with, it does not.
I'm just imagining Confucius's thoughtful sprite saying that.
Just because in this case for this demo, it's funnier, and also it has a slightly less. So
Love it, love it, love it.
yay, mortality.
Yippee! Yay!
Sometimes I think the arbiter enjoys me. He does. I definitely use his happy face for some grim lines. This is really something Ari would say, but whatever.
Ari's gonna hang out with Confucius a lot. They might rub off on each other, you know?
Otherwise, we die alone and disappointed. Which can then set up the Confucius joke. But, you know, Arbiter might be processing some things.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's got some trauma. Oh, no, wait. This is when the idea should be added to the idea slate.
Yeah.
I don't particularly. Arbiter's a real jerk in this script. But he is arguing that humanity doesn't deserve a treat. So, like,
yeah.
Oh, one thing we need that we don't currently, that I didn't fail to copy over is what happens if you loop around. Here is me reflecting on the argument. I think this is literally what I wrote in the template.
Perfect.
That maybe gives a hint. Okay, so yes, you want the two ideas.
Yeah.
Tab introduced at the top. Oh yes, we have it. We have this already. So idea one, when it starts at the top.
So we can.
Has stated that it is essential we keep up our motivation for self-improvement.
So that would probably hit argument 3, right? Treats distract from such reflection. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. You present it on argument 3. Motivation goes to nonsense. Not that this format actually matters at all, but
Oh, I wish we had a nonsense sprite for Confucius. That'd be great.
we can use his like explaining pose. That's what we usually pick one of the poses for the philosophers where they say nonsense.
Hell yeah.
Machiavelli like usually strikes his
Nonsense.
right, like Kant would do his like
steepled fingers.
So yes, I think for Confucius we usually use the like whole like explaining like, oh my child. Like,
yes.
Argument is essentially don't burn out fear. Give yourself a break so that you can remain motivated. And Confucius would probably drop Ren in there a few times, right?
True, yes.
Of Ren requires balance or something like that. And come up with some metaphor. I'll just write like a treat to the wary is like a sun on the tree. Why not? So there, now you have 2 lines to use in your argument.
Perfect.
So yeah, I mean, let's go to the script thing, which I think you have on your end, right? The template.
Yeah.
Start copying this stuff over.
Question is, can I spell prologue? Okay.
Why didn't you not just open it and then save as?
Because I'm a silly goose, what can I say?
Morgan, do you even computer?
Barely. I'm a social media manager, what do you want from me?
I want social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, first things first, we can just copy over some of the things. Well, let's quickly scroll through this and I can talk about how this is set up. So at the very top of the file, of our scene files, we declare the elements that we are going to use in this chapter, because it's broken up into chapters. So you can see here for the template I had like an idea and some other idea and title T1. So yeah, let's replace this with the stuff that we already know. The argument title is you do not inherently deserve a little treat. So we can copy that into title T1. And we know that argument idea 1 is treats.
So we're gonna copy. Oh, it is already formatted, great.
It's not, because there's the subtle difference between computer quotes and
Is that a fact? That's wild.
yeah. Well, it's important because otherwise, every time I had a quotation mark in Pro Philosopher 2, the game would break.
Oh, got you. Okay, so title is in 1 quotation marks, and then the statement itself is in a second set of quotation marks. Got you.
Yeah. NPC 2, we basically have characters NPC 1 through 5 that I left in this template just in case you want to use one of them. They are characters without bodies, right? So like, and what we do is we can use the set name function, which is not in here, but set name NPC2 space quotes to change the name to whatever. That's what we use to make the character's name question mark when they still show up and things like that. Would you make like NPC2 be like question mark sometimes, or Voltaire, or like someone specific, or Locke yelling off screen, right? So basically we use those for Sir not appearing in this philosophy game. Yeah, at the very beginning there's title and subtitle. You can make that whatever you want, Morgan. You got any ideas? A little treat. Okay, the great Poland. Sure. And then the subtitle could be a little treat.
A little treat.
Because the argument itself is a little treat. So that means you don't deserve this argument. We're done. Video over.
That is a paradox in and of itself, arguing that you do not deserve the treat which you are currently receiving. Anyway.
There's one other thing we need to do. So I put in here an example of the choices that we added for Pro Philosopher 2. We don't actually need that because I don't think we want to write a choice. So delete choice through sequence option 2. And it does mean we'll need to change one thing about the formatting. The way each of these chunks work is that there's a sequence ID, and then a next which says the linear sequences, a next that shows what's the next area that triggers. And because choices kind of bypass that by manually triggering the sequence, we just remove the choice. So we're going to need to put under sequence entry, which is always the first one, next space. Look like sext. Next argument, because that's the sequence that is actually kicking off the argument. And that means that when this sequence ends, you don't need spaces there. Actually, that will do.
So it...
It's a parser, Morgan.
Okay, so...
It'll probably be fine, but...
Okay.
I've never done that before, so I would hate to leave, and then you're like, alright, now it's time to run the thing, and you're like, it's not working.
It's not working. Yeah, okay.
Let's set up the argument scaffolding. The template I sent you over is a 3-statement argument.
Yeah.
You convinced me to add a 4th statement, so we should add a 4th thing. So you'll see, this is the way that arguments are set up. They're made out of multiple cards that have pointers for clarification, backing, relevance, and the line. They also have, if you look down at the 3rd one, which is conveniently actually set up exactly what we want so it'll succeed on our 2nd idea, so we don't need to do anything there. Move, adding idea 2. I have it in the opening intro. On line 24. Notifications, stuff added to your idea slate, and below that are the commands unlock I2 and unlock I8.
Got you. So
that's what actually adds the idea that's at the top of your idea slate.
So we want to not unlock I2, and we want to move that down to P4.
Backing.
Got you, P4 backing. And the arbiter is so pressed, and then idea 2 is unlocked.
You can set up challenges, and so we use that for the correct options and for any special responses that we create, right? Like by default, if you look at the very top, there's default. For anything you present on a statement that's doesn't have a custom one defined, it points to that. And if you tell people their face is ugly, it points to the ad hominem attack for that argument, which, is obviously a good option. Sorry, not in 2, it's stick. Because, we got to innovate on ad hominem arguments.
So true.
Copy card scaffolding 2 from the bracket and paste it below gating. Add another line below just to make it easier to read. And we're going to, make it 4.
This is for R.
Yeah, I mean, it's still R in our code because it used to be relevance. We need to actually make things that clarify backing and relevance are pointing to. So there's the sequence. This is the clarification for 3. The below is the backing for 3 and the relevance for 3. I just copy all 3 of those. I copy them all at once and paste them below. And then you can change the ID and make it 4. Okay, we should open Unity quickly and test that it works. It's always good to test as you're going along to make sure because you have less stuff to review. The key thing here that's interesting about how we set this up is, obviously there's the background that's made out of multiple layers. You can see where the edges of existence are. We've got the banner that's just hiding above everybody's head until it comes down. The thing that I think is worth opening up is targets. Placing these is how we determine where we position the camera and where we position characters. So the move command, character move commands and the character and the camera move commands use these. As you can see, I've added more and more over time.
Yeah.
When these are spoilers, I don't think they are. Oh, there's player sunk and player sunker, so you'll have to wonder what those are for.
That's when we go into the upside down.
Very specific purpose. When the thing starts, characters that are in, like, by default, these characters don't exist in the scene. The game knows to add any character that is declared in the script at the top. So one of the things we have to do at the top of the script is, let's say, often we'll have a thing where, there's a character that doesn't show up until later, right? Like the philosopher, which we don't have that problem here because there's only 2 characters. We'll have to immediately tell them to be like, teleport off screen at 0 at the top of the script. So for scenes like the finale of Pro Philosopher 1, which had literally every character in the game, top of the script is like 50 characters off screen, stage left, just waiting to enter dramatically.
In the wings.
What you should know is, in reality, the characters are just constantly standing off to the right, being like, all right, tapping their toes, whatever you're doing. Hobbs never left. He follows forever.
Ooh, Notification is listed as a character. That's really interesting.
Yes, yeah, Notification is technically a character. It's a character with no name that just goes...
That's
different rules.
So all of the audios are linked to specific characters because they have they reference their own audio files.
Yes.
Cool.
You'll see there is variables set up like which loops does he use? Different pitches.
Yeah.
Theoretically, we could make this anything. We could have done whole Banjo-Kazooie where they go wah, 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 wah. But no, we've settled on our bloops and you have to live with them.
Oops, spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, that still wasn't Pro Philosopher 1. We're still planning it. I mean, if worst case scenario, we'll cut it, but I don't think it's likely. We're tracking well for it. But also, that's the reality of indie development. Sometimes you're like, it's important to ship a thing.
Should I add a collider to Confucius? I think that would be fun.
Do not add a collider. And now it's a matter of putting in the actual words, animating it, and doing the poses, which you can do because I've shown you a bunch of that.
Yeah.
I'm just, generally excited about what we're making, and it's really nice that it's easy to make content like this. Anyway, Morgan, good luck.
Connor,
don't break the bean. Okay.
I'll see what I can do.
Nonsense.